Why does peace feel suspicious to you? Why does rest sometimes make you uncomfortable? Why, when life finally begins to soften, do you instinctively search for what might go wrong? Many people believe they want ease, but when it arrives, they sabotage it, they delay it, they complicate it, they reject it. Not consciously, but automatically. Because for many of us, struggle has become more than an experience. It has become an identity. You may not realize it, but your nervous system can become loyal to difficulty. Your mind can become emotionally attached to friction. Your body can become so conditioned to operating under pressure that peace feels foreign. Ease feels unsafe. Flow feels suspicious. Calm feels like something must be wrong. This is one of the most misunderstood forms of self-sabotage. You are not always addicted to failure. Sometimes you are addicted to struggle, and that addiction often begins very early. Many people learned, consciously or unconsciously, that love was tied to effort, that praise came after sacrifice, that rest was earned only after exhaustion, that value was measured by output, that suffering was proof of seriousness. Somewhere along the way, your brain linked worthiness with effort and effort with pain. You learned that if it hurts, it must matter. If it costs you something, it must be valuable. If it exhausts you, it must be productive. And if it comes easily, it must not count. That belief becomes dangerous because it creates an internal martyr complex. The martyr complex is not about wanting pain. It is about mistrusting ease. It is the unconscious belief that struggle makes you noble, that constant effort makes you admirable, that being overwhelmed makes you important, that burnout proves your commitment. This is why some people feel guilty when they rest. They cannot relax because stillness feels undeserved. They cannot celebrate progress because their mind immediately looks for the next burden. They do not know how to simply receive, because receiving feels passive, and passivity feels irresponsible. Modern hustle culture reinforces this every day. We live in a world that glorifies exhaustion. People wear busyness like a badge. They brag about lack of sleep. They normalize chronic stress. They confuse depletion with dedication. Burnout has been rebranded as ambition, but exhaustion is not evidence of purpose, and suffering is not proof of worth. Sometimes it is simply evidence of poor boundaries and inherited beliefs. What makes this even more complicated is that struggle feels emotionally predictable. It gives your mind a familiar story. I am trying, I am fighting, I am earning, I am surviving. That narrative feels safe because it creates a sense of control. If life is hard, you know what to do. Push harder, work longer, sacrifice more. But ease requires something entirely different. Trust. And trust feels far more vulnerable than struggle. This is the paradox. Flow feels dangerous to the ego because flow removes your excuses. When life is hard, your identity stays intact. You are the fighter, the overcomer, the survivor, the resilient one. But what happens when life becomes easier? Who are you without the struggle? That question terrifies many people. Because if your identity has been built around surviving hardship, peace can feel like an identity crisis. Without struggle, you may feel empty. Without resistance, you may feel directionless. Without pressure, you may feel invisible. That is why people unconsciously recreate chaos. They overcomplicate simple tasks. They delay easy solutions. They create unnecessary conflict. They choose difficult paths even when simpler ones exist. Not because they enjoy suffering, because struggle feels familiar, and familiar feels safe. This pattern also has a biological component. Your nervous system is designed to adapt. If you live in chronic stress long enough, your body begins to normalize it. Elevated cortisol becomes your baseline. Adrenaline becomes familiar. Hypervigilance becomes your operating mode. Eventually, calm feels unnatural. A quiet day feels unsettling. An empty calendar creates anxiety. Restlessness appears. Your body starts searching for a problem because it expects one. This is not weakness, it is conditioning. Your system learns survival, but survival is not the same as living. Healing means teaching your body that peace is safe. That is a different skill entirely. Many people never learn it. They know how to endure. They do not know how to receive. They know how to push. They do not know how to soften. They know how to survive crisis. They do not know how to sustain peace. That is why choosing ease requires courage, because ease demands surrender. It asks you to release the belief that suffering makes you worthy. It asks you to let go of the idea that harder means better. It asks you to stop performing your pain, and that feels deeply vulnerable. Some people fear ease because they believe it can be taken away. If things are good now, something bad must be coming. This creates emotional sabotage. You cannot enjoy the present because you are preparing for loss. You distrust happiness. You anticipate disruption. You brace for impact. This is often rooted in earlier instability. If your life once taught you that peace never lasted, your body learned not to trust it. That made sense then. But now it is stealing your future. You deserve to experience calm without preparing for catastrophe. You deserve joy without apology. You deserve rest without guilt. But first, you must challenge the myth of unearned ease. Many people secretly believe joy must be paid for, that success without suffering is morally wrong, that ease means laziness, that peace means weakness. But look closely. Nature does not strive the way humans do. Trees grow without panic. Oceans move without force. Breath happens without effort. Your healthiest biological systems function through rhythm, not strain. Your heart beats through consistency, not overexertion. Your lungs expand and release. They do not clench. Your nervous system heals through regulation, not pressure. Ease is not laziness. Ease is alignment. This is what strategic ease means. Strategic ease is not doing nothing. It is doing what matters without unnecessary resistance. It is conserving energy for what truly requires effort. It is refusing to glorify friction. It is choosing intelligent movement over compulsive struggle. Imagine how much energy you waste on resistance traps, overthinking simple choices, arguing with reality, perfectionism, rechecking work that is already done, procrastinating because starting feels uncomfortable, saying yes when you mean no, carrying responsibilities that are not yours. All of these drain energy without producing meaningful outcomes. Strategic ease asks a simple question: what can be released? What can be simplified? What can be delegated? What can be stopped? This is not avoidance, it is wisdom. Your energy is finite. Stop spending it proving your worth. Use it to build your life. This also means learning to notice when you create unnecessary friction. Do you delay easy conversations? Do you avoid simple solutions because complexity feels more legitimate? Do you mistrust calm relationships and unconsciously create drama? Do you overload your schedule to feel important? Do you reject help because doing it alone feels more honorable? These are struggle habits, and habits can be changed. Start small. Choose one area of unnecessary friction. Maybe it is your morning routine. Simplify it. Maybe it is your work process. Remove one step. Maybe it is your emotional labor. Set one boundary. Maybe it is your self-talk. Replace criticism with neutrality. Ease grows through repetition, not grand gestures. Your nervous system needs evidence. Each time you allow something to be easier, your body learns. Each time you accept support, your identity expands. Each time you rest without guilt, your beliefs shift. Each time you choose calm over chaos, your healing deepens. Eventually, peace stops feeling suspicious. It starts feeling normal. That is the goal. Not temporary comfort. A new baseline. A life where ease feels natural. A life where peace is not something you occasionally visit. It becomes home. Imagine waking up without emotional armor. Imagine completing tasks without inner warfare. Imagine receiving success without immediately raising the bar. Imagine resting without self-judgment. Imagine joy without waiting for punishment. That is what happens when the struggle identity dissolves. You become available for thriving, and thriving feels very different from surviving. Surviving is reactive, thriving is intentional. Surviving contracts, thriving expands. Surviving expects loss, thriving trusts abundance. Surviving asks, how much can I endure? Thriving asks, how much can I receive? That is your new question. How much can you receive? Can you receive love without proving yourself? Can you receive peace without earning it? Can you receive support without guilt? Can you receive rest without shame? Can you receive joy without suspicion? These questions reveal where healing still needs to happen. And that is okay. Healing is not about perfection. It is about permission. Permission to stop suffering unnecessarily. Permission to stop worshiping effort. Permission to stop making struggle your identity. Permission to choose ease. Today, make this declaration. I release my addiction to struggle. I release the belief that pain makes me worthy. I release the need to prove my value through exhaustion. I choose peace without guilt. I choose rest without apology. I choose ease without suspicion. I trust that alignment can feel gentle. I trust that success can feel calm. I trust that my value is inherent. I no longer need resistance to feel real. I give myself permission to thrive. This is your invitation. Not to become passive, but to become aligned. Not to stop growing, but to stop suffering unnecessarily. Not to abandon discipline, but to stop glorifying pain. The life you want may not require more effort, it may require less resistance. And when you finally stop worshiping struggle, you may discover something extraordinary. Ease was never your enemy. It was your inheritance. Mind care is self-care, healing minds, restoring lives.